America's beverage companies are investing in America. We're American companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns. We're local bottlers and manufacturers, operating in all 50 states, employing more than 275,000 Americans in good-paying jobs, delivering for the nation, because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great. Learn more at wedeliverforamerica.org. Paid for by the American Beverage Association.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Welcome to a special edition of
Eejits of the world.
World. That's right.
That was good, Jim.
Yeah.
That special guest.
Our only guest. We've invited a third in.
Yeah.
Trying to save the relationship.
Invited. We're all living on the same floor of a hotel. It's not like I've got a car pick me up to take me to a studio.
No.
We're at the end of Glenn's bed right now.
Yeah.
We had to delay the podcast because the cleaners were here.
Yeah, there was that. It was awkward where we all stood there shuffling around while people really worked hard around us.
Well, and her grasp of the language wasn't great, so every time we asked her to leave, she took that as, "Oh, clean more." No, we're gonna start working now. Okay, I start working now.
No, it's still not a bad misunderstanding. Like if somebody, you're just asking them to leave and instead they decide to clean your room harder and faster. Like, I mean, there's worse ways. But nevertheless, welcome Jim Jefferies.
Thank you.
To Eejits of the World.
Thank you for having me. I've been listening to the whole season of this podcast. I'm up to date on all the episodes.
You know what's happening.
And how many episodes would that be, Jim?
2.
Okay.
2, but by the time this comes out, I'll listen to them and then I'll be up to speed.
Yeah, that'll be good.
By the time this comes, we're on tour in the UK and we're about to go up to Manchester tomorrow, but this will be out afterwards.
This is it.
So thank you to all the people who came to Manchester. Best show of the run.
Oh, they were great.
Wonderful. Jason Manford came over.
Oh, what a surprise. That was a surprise visit. That'll be good.
Very exciting. Did security on the door for us.
Yeah.
That was Colin.
But we've been on the road for like 3 weeks now in the Golden Tour bus.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would say, and all three of us have known each other for, 25 years, something like that?
22, yeah.
But most of what we have talked about has been the 90s. We have talked a lot about, what would you say, and just...
We've reached that age where we just reminisce about when our life was at its best.
I must admit, I'm surprised how passionate and in-depth your knowledge of Kerry Katona has been.
Oh, I know about Kerry Katona. Oh, that reminds me. Brian McFadden asked for tickets for Manchester, so I gotta get onto that.
Yeah. There we go. Is he going to bring all of the other lads?
No, just the one. He wrote to me on the Twitter, but a long time ago asked for the Manchester tickets, and I said, sure, you just reminded me. So, Brian McFadden.
Former Paramore
Westlife. He would have been part of your parliament or something after that, important person in Ireland.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Boyzone and Westlife are very important, but weirdly not as important as Jedward. Is
Jedward still kicking on?
Oh, wow. They are...
Really?
They are they exist in their own zone of... I don't know. Like when Obama got elected, right? When Obama got elected, he came to Ireland and he did a massive speech in College Green, the biggest green in Dublin. It can take 250,000 people. 250,000 people showed up to see him, maybe even more. He made a speech. But weirdly, they had Jedward as the support act. Like, what? And I was on tour over here in the UK, and all the commercial radio stations were asking me, why? Why are Jedward supporting the American president? I'm
did Jedward still do the music?
I don't even know they ever did music.
They did TV presenters. Are they?
They were on X Factor or one of these
They're
things.
brothers, right? They're twins.
They're twins from Dublin. Yeah.
And they had like a Vanilla Ice haircut thing.
That's
going on.
right.
Yeah, I remember Jedward. And there was the cheeky girls was the other twins.
Yes, they were
who
from
were like Albanian,
Romanian
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of them
Started banging a politician.
Lembic Orpik.
Lembic OPEC.
Yeah, it sounded like it was backwards.
Yes, he lost his seat because he was shagging one of the cheeky girls, and when he lost the seat on the news, when they have the election results, there was David Dimbleby, and all he said was, "Lembic OPEC has lost his seat. One too many cheeky girls."
Yeah.
pretty nasty. But like my thing was trying to defend Jedward. I go, why are they supporting Obama? I'm like, it's a security. They're the only two Irish men alive we can guarantee are not in the IRA.
And why is that? Why can't they be? Like they thought that Elvis was an undercover spy. Why couldn't Jedward
try and get a balaclava over that mess?
hiding his...
Yeah, it would poke out the hole in the balaclava.
IRA! Shut up, Jedward! Stop telling them their names!
Do they clean up with the girls or do they go the other way, Jedward? No one knows?
They live in, you never hear any
Well,
rumours
this is the
about
thing, is because your fan base grows with you. So I remember Jedward, and Jedward, I would hasten to say Jedward from 18 years ago, X Factor.
Oh, he's...
Maybe more,
Yeah.
right? So
they look the exact same.
18 years. So now they've got to at very at least be 33-year-old men, probably.
Maybe older.
Maybe older, maybe 35, right? So who's their fan base? It can't be young girls anymore. Is it just housewives that are into Jedward?
I don't know, but their fame never goes.
They're sort of they're Twitter famous now. They tweet a lot. They've got a large following on Twitter.
Yeah, they really get in there, and if they don't like a politician, they just word fuck them on Twitter. And nobody sees it coming because you never think you're going to lose an argument to Jedward.
No.
So
Even if there's two of them, you're like, I can take them both.
What do you think? From obviously you're only over here for briefly for the tour, and you live in the States, and you've been. How long have you been there? 15 years.
15 years I've lived in America. Yeah, it's a long time.
What would you say is the fundamental difference between the Eejits of the UK and the Eejits of America?
The idiots in America seem to have more of a voice than the idiots in the UK. They can band together, and they all seem to live. See, like if you got idiots living in Britain, there'll be sound people living 20 miles away, 15 miles away that they can visit.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes the idiots in America can't find a rational person for 100 miles, 200 miles. Like they're very enclosed in their own community. And I'm not talking like right wing versus left wing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just the Amish.
Yeah. How are they?
Yeah.
They're 50 miles out of Philadelphia.
They're 50 miles outside of Philadelphia, and they're
Born and raised in the playground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Building barns is how I spend most of my days, chilling out.
Oh, my
and
wife!
relaxing.
We were watching TV last night in the hotel room, and my wife, who lives in LA with me, we're watching The Chase, and they said, "What city is Bel Air in?" And my wife said, "Philadelphia." And I said, "No, we live in the same city as Bel Air. It's 2 suburbs on from us.
Yeah.
You've driven through it many, many times." And she goes, "No, in the Fresh Prince in West Philadelphia. You didn't even listen to the whole song. You didn't listen to the bit where he moved.
Yeah.
You just went, that's for the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. That's the only bit she got. They stayed in Philadelphia, Bel Air, Philadelphia.
Bel Air, Philadelphia, and lived in a mansion with his judge father in West Philadelphia. Could happen. It didn't happen.
That's one of the things with sitcoms. Every time I try to write a sitcom, they're always like this: don't put it in LA or New York because people can't relate to it. It's such a network note thing. Yeah. It's unrelated. Middle America doesn't relate to it. What about me living in Australia, growing up, watching a black guy move to Bel Air and still watching it and understanding and grasping the concept?
Yeah, getting your head around it.
What I mean?
Yeah. Got really square cousins.
When I used to pitch to the BBC, they'd be like, "Well, I mean, the guy's Canadian. It's going to confuse people. How did he get here?" And I'm like, "Well,
plane.
Yeah, about 15 a day land full of
Canadians.
The amount of times you audition for a role and they're like, yeah, but and if the few times I've gotten a role and I have to be Australian, they always work into the script. Well, he came over here with his family 20 years ago. They always work some
way.
Why can't we just assume I'm just fucking here? Just accept it.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe episode 7 I can give a backstory if you want, but we don't need it for the pilot.
Yes.
But instead, no, there's you in the opening trailers with a knapsack on your back, just walking your dingo through town.
Taking off his corked hat. Well, I won't be needing that anymore.
Well, flaming hell, it's hot here, but you haven't got the flies.
I don't know if the cork hat has ever been actually worn in truth.
Shut up.
I think it's just been a tourist thing. I've been to rural Australia. I've never seen the cork hat. I've worn one for comedy purposes.
I asked a mate, is a mate of mine called Gelly. He's Irish, but he's sort of a musician. He's lived and toured around Australia, and he was like, there's parts of Queensland in cow country where you need the cork hat. Like, you are gone, or you have to accept there will just be flies on your face.
When I climbed on Uluru. You're not allowed to do it anymore. Ayers Rock when I was a kid, but we changed the name to Uluru. It would be nice, right thing to say, right? And there's so many fucking flies there. I was going to spend like 3 or 4 days at this rock, and then I got to the top of it and I went, "That's me done. Let's go home." It's just too many flies. And you go into the restaurant. They got one resort there, and there'll just be like a rat, like a large mouse, will come out and crawl over your feet, and you'll go to the waiter. You'll go, "Hey, there's a large mice under me table." Right? And they'll go, "Oh no, they're endangered special mice from this particular reason. They have more rights here than you. You can't kill them or anything like that. They're very rare, but not in this restaurant. You find plenty of them.
Lots of them have our bins. It's a real sanctuary, our bins.
Anyway, I've gone off the topic. What idiot were you talking about? The difference between American idiots and British idiots. I don't know. You get pretty daft cunts everywhere, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast. We are celebrating the Eejits
I've always
of the world.
thought that America gets a bit of a bad rap because their idiots are broadcasted the most.
Yes, they
You
are.
know what I mean? Like, it's very easy for someone in Norway to go, "These Americans and how they talk and blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, I'll tell you, okay, so one time I was doing a gig in Norway, right? Or Sweden. I was in Sweden. And then the comic was like this: Flugenhagen, fliegen, dagen, duga, blah, 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 blah. And then he went, "Doopy, doopy, 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 doopy." And I turned to the comedian and said, "What's the doopy, 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 doopy?" And he goes, "He is doing impersonation of man from Norway." It just made me think that every country has a moron country next to it.
Yeah.
Like you have the Welsh, we have the New Zealanders, America has the Canadians, Canadians have the Americans, and we all go, the other nation are,
Oh, they're all stupid over there.
So I don't know if America has more idiots. I just think they're more worldwidely known. And I think another thing with America that doesn't help is the flag. The flag is...
Yeah.
I'm anti-flag. I think any time a cunt's got a flag tied around his neck, he's up to no good.
Yeah.
No one's ever achieving something good there. They're always...
He's never achieved anything on his own.
Yeah, they're
he's
going
very
to...
proud of...
They're going to cause trouble. You know
Something.
what I mean?
Yeah, the fancy way of saying it is Edmund Burke, the 17th century political philosopher, said his patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel.
Yeah.
And that always comes to mind when I see somebody draped in a flag not at a sporting event.
I know the
Well,
Australians, they had to stop wearing flags. They were considered gang colours. Because remember that when they had the punch up with the Lebanese on Cronulla Beach?
Oh, yeah. The boys from the Nulla.
Yeah. They all showed up in their Australian flags. Here we go.
In utes.
Yeah.
And cut-off denim jackets. We're going to have a big fucking blue on the beach with these fucking Libo Westie cunts.
Yeah, exactly.
They made a documentary about it. And, like, you go, all right, I'm sure it was traumatic for us. But, like, nobody died. It was literally a punch-up. A fist fight on a beach.
Yeah, but we went for it.
Yeah, people went for it.
The biggest fist fight wasn't at the beach. It was at the congestion at the train station.
Yeah.
Going to the beach. They didn't even get to the destination.
I don't know if it matters, but who won?
The Australian spirit.
Yeah.
As always.
Yeah, mate.
The great Aussie battlers, the larrikins.
The diggers.
Yeah, the Sheilas. Yeah, the diggers. I don't use that nickname in America.
No.
It's too close.
You can
They're
see
the real
while
Aussies.
you're saying it.
And if you're listening in America, the term digger comes from it's not racist anyway. It comes
World War
from
One.
digging the trenches in World War One.
yeah.
So it's for the
Oh,
soldiers.
Did
Yeah,
you guys do that?
Yeah.
we did it for our trenches.
Yes.
So everybody did it.
Yeah, but we had the nickname.
Yes.
If you want to call yourself diggers, you go ahead. But that's what we chose.
Yep.
You guys probably called yourself diggy trench.
Well, the Canadian guys, I think using a trench is cheating. No, stay above ground.
They call us when it got wet. They call us the milk boys.
They're actually called the Bing Boys. That was the First World War. There,
No, we were
The
called
Bing
the
Boys.
Canucks because the people who fought were so young. There was a comic book called Johnny Canuck that he was like a logger from British Columbia, and that's how they knew Canadians had been in the trench. Like if another one of the armies got there, find the things, and they go, the Canucks have been here.
there you go.
Yeah, that's why we call the Australian penthouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Find those
Razzle.
magazines all through. How many wanks do you reckon you would have had in the trench? Like you've got trench foot.
There's also
There's
just
maggots everywhere.
Yes.
You gotta,
Oh yeah, well those two things alone, I've been wanking myself to death.
you gotta knock one out, right? You're in a trench.
Yeah.
You find a dead bloke. You search his body. You find a picture of his girl back home.
his sweetheart.
Yeah, or somebody's giving you a letter to send home, like he's dying. Just as soon as he's dead, I'm wanking to your
I'm
letter.
opening this up. Dear Cecilia, I hope this finds you well.
Wonder what Cecilia looks like.
There was in the Vietnam War, which obviously the Aussies were in as well.
Yeah.
I spoke to a guy years ago.
You guys didn't go.
Oh, Ireland? No, we were
Canada made the bullets.
See, that's contributing a bit.
Yeah.
in the '60s. Ireland were in the Congo. That's
What?
we were in the Congo in the UN. We lost a load of men. Lost a load of men in the Congo.
Like just lost them?
Yeah, it's a big country. Yeah. There's no taxis. There's no maps.
Oh
like,
man, we're gonna find them like Colonel Kurtz now. There's gonna be like a little Irish village in the middle of the Congo.
yeah, lot of red-haired children. But the Australia were in the Vietnam War as well as obviously with the Yanks, but proportionally the Aussie soldiers lost almost no men because they were number one. They were trained up top in top of
Because
Queensland.
we have lots of Asians living in Australia. We knew how to talk.
Yeah, no, I had to talk to
There's
them.
no problem. We
Yeah.
could order the food, everything.
All right, look me in the eye when I'm speaking to you, Sunshine. No, they didn't wash. They were trained. The Aussie soldiers were trained when you're up in the jungle. Just never washed. But the American,
I don't think they were trained. That's just what they were like.
They never washed.
they never washed. They couldn't. The Viet Cong couldn't find them. Whereas the Yanks
What,
were
because of the smell? or
the
something?
smell. That's right. They smelt like a jungle. Whereas the American troops had to shower every day and use palm olive soap. So when they were in the middle of a jungle, like the Viet Cong, trackers could just smell soap on the wind. Oh, that's where where the Yanks are. Whereas the Aussies,
I don't know about that.
oh, I'm telling you, it's true.
Well, also,
Do you reckon that the trackers like dogs or something, or do you reckon
you'd
they just
smell it.
You just
No,
picture
you
like
can-
Asian people just going, "Well, it's a bit soapy over there."
Yeah,
Okay.
that would do it.
was
That would
also
do it.
From what distance?
Well,
I
I don't
can't
know.
smell you from here.
Well, that's because we're both soapy.
Oh, I haven't been soapy for a few days.
Oh, really?
I'm smelling like jungle.
if you were in a war though, you'd pick it up easier. Like
Oh yeah.
if you knew the soapy guys had guns, you'd be,
Wouldn't it be the plumes of heroin?
Well, can't pretty much good. But I think everybody was hitting the dragon out there.
They were also, if not heroin, they were all smoking weed in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Doing it out of gun barrels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I can't imagine because weed makes me paranoid. Like at a party,
but that's what you
let alone like in a war.
You want to be paranoid in a war. That's the time to be paranoid.
That's true, actually.
You want to worry what's behind me.
was that?
Yeah. You want to be on that.
Oh, it was the Viet Cong. Oh, yeah.
Somebody said something. What was it? Was
You
it
think
bad?
it's the soap? They were also shitting in the woods.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
lots of smells.
Yeah.
There would have been, but the soap would have been the one that didn't smell like a jungle.
Well, it's come out now too that the Americans were a lot of the times they were taking those hills. There was absolutely no point to that. They just thought it was good for morale.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
like
actually
just
very-
crazy generals going, yeah, we got it, and they would fight for weeks to take Hamburger Hill or whatever, and they'd get up there and then just sort of slink off like, well, we didn't really need this.
That kept us busy. Kept the lads busy. But
World
did you?
War II felt like it was a pushback thing. They tried to take a bit of land, but that seemed have more point to it.
What?
Well, when they were pushing forward there.
Yeah, but they were going
Vietnam,
to.
because it was guerrilla warfare, didn't feel like there was any point to taking anything because they were
Yeah,
No, it's
they
all
were
the same.
fluid. They would
Yeah,
just,
you were
they
just-
would,
But at
if
least-
you beat them, they'd
At
just
least you got
disappear.
to give it up for World War One and Two. At least there was outfits. You know what I mean?
How do you mean there was outfits?
There was uniforms.
Oh,
You knew-
uniforms.
You knew.
Yeah.
You knew that guy's no good. Like the British, for all your bloody... Okay, the original idiots of the world, the British
Yes.
wearing red coats into war.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's got to go down as monumental dumb.
it was. Yeah.
Guy with a flute, bloke playing drums as you walk in.
Yeah. Just a little boy. Just keep drumming away.
I think right there with the Allied symbol too of a target. Oh yeah, put that right on the wing. Okay.
That's the best part of a plane to blow up is the wing. You blow off the wing, you don't need to think about the rest of it. They don't have fancy uniforms anymore. You're right. Like the Germans, the pickle helmet in the First World
The
War.
one with the spike?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that's a quality helmet.
That's the sign language for German. You got that?
Is it?
Yeah,
What,
like that.
The pickle
The-
grubel.
You put your
the
finger
spike-
on your head.
It looks like your number one, right? But
Right.
it's the spike on the World War One helmets.
I would look into that. That might be Germans just sneaking.
Oh no!
in some of the
Whenever there's a sign language person, I said a German, and they did. I thought that was an interesting one, German to Jew,
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I reckon I heard they used to put the spikes in the ground. They could use it as a bowl or some shit. There was some reason for the
There was
spike.
some sort of practical reason.
There's always something you could use the spike to get shit out of your shoe or something. There's always that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's the Roman ones or
Well,
something.
you could. I mean, you could be last ditch effort. Just unicorn the guy.
Yeah.
Just unicorn him. What the fuck did you do, Hans? I was unicorning men again. I haven't gotten, but it's what I like to enjoy. It's about how I enjoy it. But do you know the nickname, the motto? That's what I'm meant to say, of the elite Australian regiments, right? It's, you know, the way in the American Army, it's always like search and destroy,
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
and conquer, all that. You know what I mean? And there's like a skull leering with a cigar in its mouth. You know what I mean?
Forage and barbecue.
Forage and barbecue. It's called Thongs on a Root. It's actually, this is so great. It's actually nifty and naughty.
Nifty and naughty.
Nifty and
What, that's
naughty.
the whole Australian military, nifty and naughty.
No, it's like one of the elite units. That's their thing, you know, instead of search and destroy.
Sound like two children's puppets.
Yeah, nifty and naughty.
Nifty and naughty.
Oh, the SAS of Australia, man, they have a great base. They're like Cottesloe Beach, Perth.
What?
Yeah,
That's where
it's-
they get to be based on
Yeah, that's
Cottesloe
where they
Beach.
base the SAS.
You're
and
not
they-
supposed to tell everybody where the base
Oh,
is.
no, they're fine. Everyone
Hey.
knows where it is.
They're not scared of people.
They let
that
you
are
go
there.
down there, and I've drunk in the pub and run around and all type of stuff. But it's right. It's prime real estate.
Yeah.
Lovely on a hill, one of the nice beaches in the world.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's kind of like the Bondi of Perth, isn't it? It's like the famous beach.
Yeah. Famous beach is a bit further up, but the SAS have that, and then like acres of land they could sell it all off. That's what I've always thought about, like golf courses. Here's one for idiots of the world. How the fuck have they gotten the prime real estate in each country, and then I'm playing for $50?
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand how they can make their money back. Private like members clubs that have $250,000 membership and they're in Bel Air or something like that. I understand that, but one where you're just like, oh, this one's by the beach, like on the coast,
Yeah.
and I'm paying $50. I don't see it. A bowling alley must make more money.
Yeah. It's also, you can use a bowling alley at night. You can only use the golf course during the day.
I think people like living around them, but I'd hate to live next to a golf course. You
Oh, you
bloody
hate-
golf balls in your backyard.
Yeah, the idea that a small ball could fly into your fucking pantry at any minute
yeah.
isn't relaxing. And they're often the new build, those sort of new build developments, like in Portugal, beside luxury golf courses. The house is all glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I had lunch beside a golf course once, and that's when you realize, like, I don't really play the sport, but you always think everybody's a good golfer, but they're not.
Oh, no.
So you see, like, really uncoordinated people. It's not like the PGA where everybody's, nice big swings and hits. A lot of it's just, oh, Jesus, got it. Oh, well, it's rolled in the ditch. Okay.
It's gone
Well,
again.
the thing with golf is, because I took it up during COVID, the problem is every round you play, you'll hit one shot that's as good as Tiger Wood would hit it. Just one shot will be perfection out of your 100 fucking shots. And that shot keeps you coming back. Mm-hmm. You go, I just got to do that all the time.
Well, that's how Tiger Woods is with pills. He's like, that one pill was so good. I think I'll drive down this mountain pass in my fucking Lamborghini to get some more pills.
I believe he was playing golf with David Spade or something like that day or something. He was one of the last people.
I see. There's another one that, like, in the difference between Britain and America, nobody in Britain or Ireland knows who David Spade is.
You've
He's
seen
like
the movies. You've seen Tommy Boy.
They've known from Chris Farley.
Yeah, Tommy Boy.
He's not very famous. Like, he's
No.
he is
Oh,
actually famous in America, isn't he? Like,
Oh, you're huge. Yeah,
People know who he is.
David was the what's his name? Pete Davidson before social media.
Right,
When he was young. You Google David Spade girlfriends throughout history.
Throughout history.
And like, it would be good for you.
Anne Boleyn.
It'd be good for you because he's about your height, right? So I'm telling you.
He's a little fella.
Hey, little fella.
Oh, she's smaller than that.
Yeah. You go through. It's all. There's the Pamela Andersons. They're all in their prime. The list is outstanding. Outstanding. The creme de la creme.
How come?
He's really charming.
Oh, right. Well, that'll do
He's
it.
really, girls love him. My wife was charmed by him completely. She met him and she went, "Oh, David's really lovely." Like that. Girls have a thing for him. Yeah, he's very charming.
Small, charming man. I'll take over the fucking world.
Don't. This thing's never been good in the past.
When you meet David, you're like me. We're the same.
Hey! Me and you. Both of us have our histories with Pamela Anderson. Yours were more one-to-one.
You were there for them?
Mine were more sort of remote. But like, equally sincere.
We were talking before about the 90s. When I'm in Manchester, I like to go.
That's the list.
This is, good Lord. It's every hot woman who is now 52 in Hollywood.
Carmen Electra, Krista Allen, who I know, Nikki Wellham,
I don't know them all, but it is.
Heather Locklear.
It's extraordinary list of
extraordinary.
of beautiful women of the
credit where
90s.
credit's due. Now after the idiot. Sorry.
That's right.
But he didn't have any relationships, so he's obviously a shitty lay. He had to keep going from girl to girl
Clearly,
to girl.
that's how it works.
That's how I do it.
Yeah, that's right, Dave.
So those guys who were stupid at sex end up having lots.
And all the women want to have sex with them to find out how dumb they are.
Yeah, exactly. Find out I'm real stupid in bed, baby.
Yeah. I like to show my intelligence to the same person all the time.
Really impress the same person over and
push
over
the
again.
facts down.
Yeah.
I know.
Really dig into the Minogue slug.
That's dangerous that you have a term for it.
Never used it before. Luckily, nobody will ever hear it.
Yeah, you kept that from the public very well.
Well, what have you got? What have you got for us here? What evidence of Eejits do you have?
When I go to Manchester, there is a used magazine shop that I like to purchase. And it's a way of looking. You're almost clairvoyant when you're reading some of these stories because you know how these people's lives turn out. They're in this magazine, and I bought this one. It was from 1989, the end of the 80s, and I thought, is there really going to be a story in there about somebody's fall from grace? Will it work? And I'll let you guys look. Page one, just.
All right, so on the cover, we've already got Madonna. We know how that ended up.
Yeah.
TikTok has been bad for Madonna.
Yeah. We've already got Bob Geldof. Will he get a divorce from Paula? Who knows?
No.
Who knows how things will turn out?
No. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, wow. What have we got before us here?
And he's got a picture of him with scissors going to cut his dick off Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter. Who the hell does Gary Glitter think he is? And that's, he's...
A guy about to cut his own cock off.
Oh, they love Gary.
I showed that to Frank.
I've got to give it up for the cigarette commercials. You forget just an advert. Just
used to be.
The next thing is just have some Marlboro Lights, and it'll say the lighter taste, and it'll be a picture of a cool car with some like that's a car hopper's brought that to him. Just some fries and a packet of fags and a vodka cranberry. Lovely. Straight at the drive-thru.
People forget, that's what made men manly.
Who's the rapper here?
Who's that? Tone Loc. Fucking Jesus, this is a long time
Tone Loc. And that's Mark Cooper. That's Hanging with Mr. Cooper meets...
Tone Loc?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's LL Cool J. They're all there.
They're all there. Wow, whiskey ads. Whiskey and cigarettes.
It was a better time. Anyway, Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
Gary Glitter. There's something that you might miss.
We would say, idiots of the world, Gary Glitter. If you don't know, because the Americans don't really know him. Because they still play his music at the baseball.
No.
Dun, 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 hey. Dun, dun, dun. Not at the Dodgers, but I saw a game at St. Louis Cardinals, a playoff game while I was there, and they played that song all the time. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. And so if you don't know, the guy who wrote that song is Gary Glitter, and Gary Glitter went to, he's in prison for being a pedophile, and the way he got caught was his computer started to slow down. What if that happened? Now, if you are a pedophile, right, and I'm not saying I know too much about it, but if you are, probably don't take your computer in to get cleaned.
No.
Just get a new one, throw that one in the ocean, start again.
Yeah.
Because he took it into PC World and it was filled to the brim.
That's the wrong world to take it into.
Yeah,
that's a very politically correct world.
Yeah, to the brim with child pornography. And they called him in to get the repair, and the cops were waiting for him there. And then he ran away to Thailand.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about being a pedophile, but probably Thailand's like your best bet for escape.
Yeah. If you really want to prove to people that you're not a nonce, Thailand's, the beaches of Southeast Asia probably aren't the place.
And if you're not a Thai man, you're going to stand out.
Oh, no, they call them, because the term is expats for people who live, but not in Britain. If you're a bit chubby and you're wandering around Thailand by yourself, you're known as a sexpat.
Yeah.
That's the nickname they get, sexpat.
Sexpat.
Right?
Ooh. When you're done with the Minogue slog,
it's time for the sex.
And I know, because I was there doing gigs and I was like, I was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and I'm like, I definitely look like a sexpat right now. I just by myself.
Do you know what it is about the sexpat? The tracker sandals, a certain type of flip-flop, do you know the one I'm talking about? They're called the trackers, and the bum bag.
Oh, yeah.
They love. Do you know what it is about the sex pats? They love a bum bag.
I feel sorry for Hawaiians in all of this. They're like, those are our shirts.
Oh, I love an Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
But,
Ruined that's cultural appropriation right there.
I got a mate who's he's the second fiddle on Magnum. Right. And he used to be in sitcoms and all type of stuff, Zach, right? And then he got the job being the guy that does like the computer stuff on the new Magnum series. And that show's been going for 6 years, and he lives in Hawaii, and he's like, yeah, this is some good acting.
Yeah. And all he's got to do is noodle away on a laptop. Give me the stats on that, Zeke. And he is acting the role of the guy who's in the background of a podcast. Just Googling stuff.
Yeah.
He's just Googling on the big island.
He does reconnaissance for Magnum. Magnum's a private investigator who just does Honolulu. No, not outside.
No, it's stay on the big island. It's nice.
Yeah.
You got all the lovely beaches.
Yeah. If you know any real private investigators, most of it's just sitting in a van and pissing in your coffee cup.
Oh, yeah. They never do that private eye where you just sit there and checks. Yeah, she's cheating. That's what most of it is.
Yeah.
How do you know? Well, I fucked her. Your wife's definitely a cheat. I can tell you that for nothing.
The Hawaiian shirt comes from kimonos. It was when the Japanese came over with the kimonos.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's why they're silk with the pattern. And the men were working in the fields and they just cut the bottom off and wore the top half. And that's the history of the Hawaiian shirt.
That is very interesting.
Well.
Thanks for being...
Anything else you want to know about Hawaii? They got Spam because of... Spam comes out of Minnesota or some shit. But it's popular in Hawaii because it was always in the GI's ration kits and they traded it off.
Yeah,
Traded
it's basically a type of pig in a can, isn't it?
It's canned pig meat, with sometimes a bit spicy. It's not bad if you grill it.
Sort of like a slurry of
Yeah,
pig.
it's not quite ham. It's probably 80% meat. It's got some filler in it.
Yeah, I think legally they have to call it Spam. They can't.
Yeah,
They can't call it ham.
I don't think there's any imitation Spam. I don't think anyone's bothered to there's not a cheap version of Spam.
Well, you mean a vegan spam? Like nobody's.
Which is just Spam because there's actually not enough meat. It's actually vegan.
Technically, this steak is vegan. There's nothing in here.
It's all right if it's cut up in a salad, but they do the sushi, the Spam sushi.
Oh.
You know the one where they just get the nigiri, they get the rice, and they just put Spam on top of it in Hawaii? Like, there you go. We've done something.
There you go. Doesn't look tasty. We've got incredible weed. I'll eat it. Just leave it here. It'll get eaten. This pig from a can. And, the other thing about, I suppose, the difference between America and Britain is, number one, they don't know who Gary Glitter is.
No.
And also Americans don't have rhyming slang.
So, no, they don't have rhyming slang.
So
If
they
you
don't
try
know
to
the-
explain rhyming slang, they find it very difficult.
So they don't understand that when you take somebody up the Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. They don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true, that. Yeah, so in Australia we say Barry Crocker for shocker. You've had a Barry.
Who's Barry Crocker?
Barry Crocker sang the original theme song for Neighbours.
Wow. What is so
He was an
obscure.
Australian crooner. But then, his last little bit was doing the theme song for Neighbours.
Great song. Great song. Great song.
Here's some idiots for you. How did they bring back Neighbours?
Again, yeah.
But how dumb was the network that went, geez, the ratings at the end were really good.
Yeah.
Why are we cancelling the show? Margot Robbie and Natalie Imbruglia was on the final episode with Guy Pearce and Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan. That's why the ratings were good.
The tall guy
If you
from
can
Babe.
keep that cast, you can keep the ratings.
They might want to look at the contracts that they signed. They didn't really realize. I'm in it for 10 years.
Margot Robbie's back working in a sandwich bar on a daytime soap opera.
I'll tell you another song they play at the basketball is when they hit a 3-point shot, they play the first 3 notes of Beds Are Burning. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So for 3 points, dun, dun, dun. This is 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad. But I don't think any Americans know what that is. And it is a political Aboriginal song.
Yes.
I don't know if it should be for the basketball, but here we are.
Here we are. This is
You know
how
what
we
happened to him, right?
Who?
Yeah.
So
Is he a politician?
He was. He went on to become the environment. He put his money where his mouth is. He went into politics after harping on about, social issues in every song he ever did. And then he went into politics, and then he gave rebates because he was trying to put energy prices down in Australia. So he said, every Australian show should have insulation. We're going to give rebates if you get it on your house, and we're going to give rebates to the people who install it. So it's super cheap, government funded. Anyway, he didn't put into the contract then they should all be trained up on how to do it, because a lot of them were just laying these foam pads over the top of wires, and several houses burnt down. And a lot of people died.
Ah, look, I can see.
Houses are burning.
Peter, our beds are burning.
Literally burning here.
So when I was 14, I was an exchange student. When I say exchange, I was in America for about 6 weeks or something like that when I was 14. And it's good. The Lions Club Rotary just gives you money if you just go, I'd like to further my, and it's like a charitable thing to send you out there. Anyway, so I go to San Diego. I was 14. I went from being a kid who never even kissed a girl to fingering within a week. All right, my accent.
Thank you, Rotary Club.
I still hadn't kissed a girl. But I the accent, Crocodile Dundee was in the fucking cinema. It was still in the cinema. It couldn't have been a sweet Yahoo serious. Well, he was going nowhere. He was going to be a movie star forever.
Taking your big knife everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you have a knife over there.
So me and my mate Nick, who incidentally died in a car accident 2 years later, but that's beside the point. So we're in the North Americans, God bless you with your slow dancing. In Australian schools, and I assume it's the same in England, we have a school disco, the boys dance on one side, and one confident lad makes out with the girl, and the rest of us sort of stay on our sides of the room.
Yeah.
But in America, they have the slow dance. Like
we had slowies in Ireland.
Oh, no, we don't in Australia. We don't. You go up and you put your hands on the hips, you just sway from side to side. Great, you're right in there, good. So I was dancing with this girl, and then the next song that comes on, and it probably was still in the charts, right? And I just did dun dun dun. Now, if you're an Australian boy who's 14, and you hear that song, you start dancing like Peter Garrett. Now, I'm sure you've all seen Peter Garrett does a sort of spasmodic type of thing like this.
Yeah,
with his
weird
arms.
arrhythmic.
Yeah, he has
strange
his own dance.
arrhythmic.
So we all started doing that, and the teacher just thought that me and this other Australian bloke was taking piss out of the kid with cerebral palsy.
Oh.
And it's not like today where you can just go, no, and YouTube the video. Very hard to explain.
Yeah.
This is how the bloke dances for that song. Anyway.
But you still fingered her.
No, not that one. Not that night.
All right.
Not that night.
But there was a time in San Diego.
And he still got in trouble.
I
thought he was making fun of the kid with cerebral palsy when he did it.
Shit. It would be great to bring it back. Why did it fall out of fashion, the fingering?
I don't think it is. I think they still finger. I think the kids still finger.
Do they?
Sure.
They'd have to. It's your first step. It's your first step.
Surely. It's all nowadays. I mean, if you read the newspaper, it seems to be all rimming.
Oh no, I still don't rim.
No, I think that's where COVID came from. If we can tell Gen Z and the millennials one thing, quit licking each other's butts.
Yeah.
It seems so obvious to the other generation.
I've had women do it to me. The payoff isn't good enough. It's not. It doesn't come close to a dick sucking. It's not in the same field or a ball licking. Yeah, an ass licking. It's not like you go, oh, that's the stuff I'm gonna. No one's. If you're not touching your cock and someone's just licking your ass, you're not ejaculating. The payoff's not good enough. So don't lick my ass, and I won't lick yours. And more.
No,
but it's almost like you're doing a dare, like I'm a crazy person.
I would just, it would immediately, now go brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Go brush your teeth and go home. And think about what you did.
Take this giant yard brush and brush your teeth all over you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hose you down now.
We have to be careful with this podcast, though, because we are three middle-aged men who might these bloody stupid kids and their ass looking.
Oh, these kids.
And it feels like they've forgotten about fisting. That was very popular in the early 2000s. Now you can't even find it for love nor money on board.
Oh, you can.
I got a guy.
There's real skill there.
There's real skill.
That's when you
it was like the girl was proving a point.
Yep.
Yeah, hey, you got to be calm to be fisted. And that's how you know you've calmed somebody down.
Hell of a bumper sticker. You've got to be calm to be fisted. You're right. It's true. If you're suffering from anxiety, a fist inside you is probably not the way to go.
But I think with the fingering, when you say what's happening to the fingering, I don't know if anyone really enjoys the fingering. I think it's just sort of to get it out of the way to say that we've taken the next step in our relationship when you're a teenager.
Well, it's right, yeah. I suppose when you put it like that, I've never.
I don't
heard
think a girl ever goes back to her friend and goes, "Then he fingered me, and I was in heaven."
Yes.
Maybe depends how big the guy's finger was.
Yeah.
We should talk to girls.
Yeah.
And find out what they think.
One day, yeah.
No way.
Hey, can we ask the women of the world, that fingering thing, was that a good thing or
I
a
got
bad
some
thing?
terrible hand jobs in the movies where there's just a hand over the top of a dick like this. So they weren't,
What, like-
they didn't show prowess either.
Like
we're all fumbling.
Like a claw.
Yeah, because they reach down your jeans. There's no reach down, get around, and then really like that. They just sort of like a joystick on a fucking like. You know,
I mean, were you expecting to be completed in the movie?
Mate, at 15,
Yeah.
16, it wouldn't have taken much.
No, I know, but is that what you wanted? I mean, that might have been why they were doing it, just to touch your knob for you. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I watch
15. Who knows what the fuck you were thinking?
But it's awkward when you're a teenager, when you're both 15 or something like that, because you both don't know what you're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
I still don't quite know.
I'm still not up to speed yet.
Yeah.
I just try and enter the arena of love making with as much enthusiasm as possible.
Yeah.
Just trying to avoid any written complaints. That's all.
Yeah, I
No,
try.
we don't want paperwork,
I try to
okay?
give as good as I get,
That's right.
and then
I'll show you who can come quickly. You want this done in 5 minutes?
Keep trying to teach the woman how to come quickly. See, just follow my lead.
Thank you very much for listening to Eejits of the World. Eejits of the World is available every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
From Pod People Productions.
From Pod People Productions. Thank you.